Welcome to Security Monitoring and Alerting. Learn to keep your SAP BTP environment secure. This means actively watching for suspicious activities and potential threats to prevent unauthorized access or data breaches. For instance, you can set an alert to notify your team immediately if someone tries to log in from an unusual location. Consistently applying these practices ensures your cloud applications and data remain protected. Set up monitoring to detect potential issues early. This means configuring tools to continuously watch your systems and alert you before small problems escalate. For example, monitoring can notify you when user login failures spike, indicating a possible brute force attack. Proactive monitoring helps maintain system integrity and prevents disruptions. Configure alerts to notify you when something needs attention. This means setting up automatic messages that inform you about issues or important events in your SAP BTP environment. For example, if a service exceeds its memory limit, you receive an email alert. This proactive approach helps you address problems swiftly before they escalate. Understand basic security incident response. This means knowing how to detect and react to potential security threats in your systems. For example, if an unusual login from an unfamiliar location occurs, you would investigate and take action, like blocking the user. Mastering this process is fundamental for protecting your applications and data. Why security monitoring matters for your enterprise. Helps detect potential threats before they cause problems. This means identifying suspicious activity early, like spotting a system trying to access data it should not. For instance, monitoring can flag an unusual login from an unexpected country, preventing a potential data breach. Proactive monitoring is your first line of defense in the cloud. Enables quick response to security incidents. This means detecting and addressing threats before they cause major damage. For example, if unauthorized access to customer data occurs, your team can immediately block the intruder and secure the system. This rapid action minimizes harm and protects your business effectively. Gives you visibility into what's happening in your environment. This means you can clearly see all activities and changes within your SAP systems. For instance, if an unauthorized user attempts to access sensitive data, you can immediately detect and investigate this event. This proactive insight is essential for protecting your business operations effectively. Proactive monitoring is better than reactive fixing. This means continuously checking for security issues before they cause harm, rather than waiting for an attack to happen and then scrambling to fix the damage. For instance, a system that automatically alerts you to unusual login attempts can prevent a data breach. This approach ultimately saves time, money, and protects your reputation. Locating security tools in the BTP cockpit. Open your BTP cockpit. This means logging into your central SAP BTP dashboard where all services are managed. For example, if you need to check user permissions, you start here to navigate to security tools. Remember, this cockpit is your starting point for all security configurations. Navigate to your sub-account. This means accessing the specific workspace your company uses within the BTP platform. For instance, if you are a developer, you would go here to manage applications for your department. This is your first step to accessing all the security services. Look for Security section in the left menu. This is where all security tools are grouped together for easy access. For example, if you need to manage user authorizations, you would navigate here to find the appropriate service. Remember, this centralized location simplifies managing your security settings. Find monitoring and alerting options. This means locating the tools that track your application's health and send notifications if issues arise. For instance, you can set an alert to email your team if an application's memory usage becomes critically high. Consistently using these tools helps you proactively manage system stability. Basic Security Monitoring Setup. Go to Security Monitoring in your sub-account. This is where you access tools to watch for security events and threats in real time. For example, you can monitor login attempts to detect unusual activity, like someone trying to access from an unexpected location. Regularly checking here helps you stay ahead of potential security issues. Enable Basic Security Monitoring. This means activating automated tools to continuously scan your SAP BTP environment for potential vulnerabilities and suspicious activities. For instance, it can automatically alert you if an unauthorized user tries to access sensitive development data. This foundational step is essential for proactively protecting your cloud applications and data. Choose what activities to monitor means selecting which user actions and system events to track for security. For instance, you might monitor only user logins and data exports instead of all system activities. This focused approach helps detect unauthorized access or data leaks efficiently. Proper selection ensures you capture critical security events without unnecessary data clutter. Set monitoring scope for your applications. This means defining which parts of your software and its environment you will actively watch for security issues. For example, for a sales app, you might monitor user logins and data access patterns but not internal system logs. Properly setting this scope is essential for effective and focused security monitoring. Understanding security events in the enterprise landscape. Security events show important activities in your system. This means they track key actions, like who accessed what and when, to help you monitor for anything unusual. For example, if an employee's account is used to download a large volume of data late at night, that event is logged. Monitoring these events helps you protect your business data effectively. Examples: login attempts, data access, configuration changes. This means tracking key user and system actions for security. For instance, if an employee's account has multiple failed logins from an unfamiliar location, this event would be logged and monitored. Monitoring these events is essential for proactively identifying and addressing potential security risks. Events help you understand normal versus suspicious behavior. This means you learn what typical system activity looks like, so you can spot unusual actions. For example, if a user normally logs in from one city, but an event shows a login from another country, that's suspicious. Consistently monitoring these events is key to maintaining strong security. Regular review helps spot patterns. This means consistently checking security logs to identify repeated behaviors or anomalies. For example, if multiple failed login attempts occur from the same location daily, review would highlight this suspicious trend. Staying vigilant through routine analysis strengthens your security posture significantly. Configuring your first security alert in SAP BTP. Navigate to Alert Configuration. This means accessing the specific area in SAP BTP where you set up notifications for potential security issues. For example, you might go here to create an alert that notifies you whenever a new user with admin privileges is created. This initial step is essential for actively monitoring and securing your applications. Choose Create New Alert. This is how you start setting up a security alert in SAP BTP. For instance, if you want to monitor failed login attempts, you begin here. This initial step is essential for activating your security monitoring and ensuring your cloud applications remain protected. Select alert type, like failed login attempts. This means choosing what suspicious activity will trigger an automatic security warning. For example, you could set an alert for when a user fails to log in 5 times in a row, indicating a potential brute force attack. This proactive step is fundamental for protecting your applications and user data. Set threshold for when alert triggers. This means defining the specific condition that must be met for the system to send you a security notification. For example, you could set an alert to trigger after 5 consecutive failed login attempts to an application. This proactive configuration ensures you are immediately informed of potential unauthorized access attempts. Setting up alert notifications in SAP BTP. Choose how you want to receive alerts. This means selecting your preferred notification method, like email or mobile push. For example, a warehouse manager could set alerts to arrive via SMS when inventory runs low. This ensures you never miss critical updates about your SAP systems. Options: email, dashboard notification, or both. This means you can choose to receive alerts via email, see them directly in your SAP BTP dashboard, or use both methods simultaneously. For example, a developer might get an email for critical system errors and also see all alerts listed in the dashboard. This flexibility ensures you never miss important updates. Set notification frequency. This means choosing how often you receive alerts, like instantly, daily, or weekly. For example, if a system's memory is low, you could get an immediate email instead of a weekly summary. Properly setting this ensures you stay informed without being overwhelmed by alerts. Test your notification setup. This means simulating an alert to verify everything works end-to-end. For instance, trigger a test alert for low disk space to ensure your email or Slack channel receives the message. Confirming this process guarantees you will be notified during a real incident. Reading security logs for enterprise applications. Access logs from security logs. This means you navigate to the security section in your SAP BTP cockpit and select logs to view detailed records of access events. For example, you can check who accessed a specific application and when. Consistently reviewing these logs helps you monitor and safeguard your cloud environment effectively. Look for unusual patterns or spikes. This means checking for any activity that deviates from the normal, expected behavior in your system logs. For instance, if you typically see 10 failed login attempts per hour, but suddenly there are 1,000, that's a spike. Consistently monitoring for these anomalies is key to proactively identifying potential security threats. Check timestamps and user information. This means noting when an event occurred and who was involved. For instance, if a sales report is modified, you'd look at the exact time and the user ID of who made the change. This basic step is essential for tracing any security incident accurately. Note any repeated failed attempts. This means consistently watching for multiple unsuccessful logins or access tries to the same account or resource. For example, if an employee's user ID shows 5 password failures within 10 minutes, this could signal a brute force attack. Recognizing these patterns early is crucial for preventing potential security breaches. Common security events to watch in your enterprise. Multiple failed login attempts. This occurs when someone repeatedly tries to log in with incorrect credentials. For example, an automated bot might try hundreds of username and password combinations to force entry into an employee account. You must monitor for this pattern as it is a clear indicator of a potential brute force attack. Unusual data access patterns. This means someone is viewing or downloading data in ways that do not match normal business routines. For example, an employee who usually accesses only customer records suddenly starts downloading large volumes of financial data. Monitoring these patterns is essential for detecting potential data breaches early. Configuration changes outside normal hours. This means system settings are modified outside typical business hours when IT staff aren't actively working. For example, if someone changes user permissions at 3 a.m. on a Saturday, such unexpected activity warrants immediate investigation to ensure it is legitimate and not a security threat. New user creation or privilege changes. This means monitoring when accounts are added or when existing users get new permissions. For example, if a finance user suddenly receives developer access, that's unusual. Staying alert to these events helps prevent unauthorized access and protects your systems. Basic incident response steps. Stay calm and assess the situation. This means taking a moment to pause and understand what is actually happening without panic. For example, if an application suddenly stops responding, first check error logs and user reports to identify the scope. A clear initial assessment ensures you respond effectively to the real issue. Check your security alerts and logs. This means regularly reviewing your system's automated notifications and activity records to spot any unusual or unauthorized actions. For example, if you see multiple failed login attempts from an unknown location, it could indicate a potential breach. Staying vigilant with these checks is your first line of defense against security incidents. Determine what happened and scope. This means you must first identify the specific security issue and assess which systems or data are affected. For example, if a user reports unusual activity, you investigate to confirm a potential breach and check which servers or applications are involved. This initial step is crucial for focusing your response efforts effectively. Take appropriate action based on findings. This means using your investigation results to decide and execute the next steps. For example, if you find an application is down due to a memory leak, you might restart the service to restore functionality. Always ensure your response directly addresses the identified issue to resolve it effectively. Practice, review the sample security scenario. We will look at a sample security event. This means examining a recorded instance of a potential security issue to understand what happened. For example, an employee tries to access a financial report they are not authorized to see, triggering an alert. Analyzing such events helps you learn to identify and respond to security threats effectively. Identify what triggered the alert means determining the exact event that activated the security notification. For example, if an employee tries to access a restricted financial report without authorization, that access attempt is the trigger. Understanding this trigger is essential for responding appropriately and preventing future incidents. Determine if action is needed. This means checking whether the security issue requires your response or can be safely ignored. For example, if a user tries to access data they aren't authorized for, you must decide whether to block them or if it is a false alarm. Always assess the situation to maintain proper security controls. Practice writing a brief incident report. This means documenting a security issue concisely, stating what happened and its impact. For example, on 5th March, an unauthorized user accessed development data via a misconfigured service. Access was revoked within an hour. Consistently reporting incidents strengthens your security response. Best Practices Summary: Key recommendations for success. Review security logs regularly. This means routinely checking system records for suspicious activities or unauthorized access attempts. For example, if an employee's account shows login attempts at unusual hours from foreign countries, you'd investigate potential compromise. Consistent monitoring helps detect threats early before they escalate into major breaches. Keep alert thresholds realistic. This means setting monitoring alerts to trigger only for meaningful issues, not minor fluctuations. For example, set a CPU alert at 80% sustained usage rather than 60% brief spikes. This prevents alert fatigue and ensures your team focuses on genuine problems. Update monitoring as your applications change. This means you must adjust your monitoring tools and alerts whenever you modify your application. For instance, if you add a new payment feature, also create alerts for its transaction failures. This proactive adaptation ensures your system's reliability and performance are always visible. Document your security procedures. This means writing down exactly how you manage access, authentication, and data protection. For instance, create a checklist for onboarding new developers that details required security clearances and system permissions. Consistently following documented processes is the best way to maintain a secure and compliant environment. You are now prepared to monitor security effectively. You can set up basic security monitoring. This means configuring tools to automatically watch for unusual activity in your SAP BTP applications. For instance, you can set an alert to notify your team if someone tries to log in from an unexpected country. This foundational step is crucial for protecting your applications and data. You know how to configure alerts. This means you can set up automatic notifications for suspicious activities, like failed logins. For instance, if someone repeatedly tries to access your system with wrong passwords, you will get an immediate warning. This proactive step ensures you can respond swiftly to potential threats. You understand security event analysis. This means reviewing system logs to spot unusual activities, like unauthorized access attempts. For example, if someone repeatedly tries to log in with wrong credentials, you'd detect this as a potential threat. This proactive monitoring helps protect your applications and data from security breaches. You have incident response basics. This means you know how to react when a security issue is detected, like identifying and containing a threat. For example, if an unauthorized user access is flagged, you would immediately revoke their permissions. This foundational knowledge prepares you to handle security events effectively.